Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the WagonCast with me, Tomo.
And me, Connor.
And we got it right that time. That never happens.
First time's a charm.
That's it. So this week we actually have some structure. Believe it or not, you'll be very glad to hear. Unfortunately, we'll probably have the same amount of adverts. Calling out. We got a comment from somebody saying there's too many adverts, and we're like,
fair enough.
We can't do anything about that.
Gotta get paid.
Not like, yeah, I wish. But like, imagine like ringing up Channel 4 and be like, here, boy, there's too many adverts here.
If I thought they'd listen, I'd probably do that. But I don't actually watch Channel 4 either, so.
It was just like, I don't necessarily mean that Channel 4 like has this crazy high ratio.
Oh, I know, but just any adverts. Like, I don't believe in adverts, to be honest.
Contractor, no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
But I do sure love Pepsi Max.
So we asked some questions this week, and we have one main topic that we want to talk about. We've made some points on it and stuff, so it will actually be hopefully a good episode. But let's chat some shit first.
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week?
Not a lot. What about you?
You're such an asshole. Every time we do this, you're just like, oh, not much.
My life's not that interesting. Why would
Make
you
it
been up
seem
to?
interesting. So there's people out there who just make a living off of taking pictures of themselves on the internet, like, and they manage to try and be interesting, like.
True. But not in like an interesting way, like, not in a talky way. What have you been up to this week?
Not much.
Fuck all.
Fuck's sake. Well,
What have you been up to?
last week we talked about how I was excited to go to Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes, how'd that go?
This week I've been to Queens of the Stone Age.
You're one Queens of the Stone Age older.
I am.
You're one Stone Age older.
I've even got the hoodie. It's a really emo hoodie, and I don't actually really like it that much. But
Emoism has sort of gone out of fashion.
emoism.
I'm gonna invent that word, emoism. Sort of gone out of fashion.
I'm gonna have an emoism.
Like, I mean, being a goth has been around for ages, but like emo really died out.
Goth has kind of been around since Edgar Allan Poe.
It's been was before that, wasn't the goths like the goths were fighting the Romans, I think, back in like the BCs. I don't know.
The BC 53s.
Anyway, yeah. How was Queens of the Stone Age?
I thought you were going to actually give us some good substance there, but I guess it ends there. No, it was amazing. They are the greatest band on earth, as we talked about, so it was nice to see the greatest band on earth.
We agree on that. I don't think we agreed on that.
I'm pretty sure we agreed on that.
I
don't think you had a
happened.
choice. Because it's just the truth. I mean, you can't deny the truth. I mean, like, it's like saying how Santa Claus isn't real. Like, who else is going to deliver all those presents that quickly?
Nobody could. Only
Nobody
Santa.
could, except Santa. And God. You're the same person.
Yeah.
No, concert was amazing. Played a lot of songs that I didn't expect them to play. And I don't think they expected to play. Because there was one song where somebody in the crowd actually shouted for them to play it. And he was like, well, do you actually want me to play that? And then,
That usually never happens at concerts. Usually you
Never.
shout for a song and they just were like, just play what they wanted to anyway.
yeah, it's like, no, we have our set
The
list.
set list is there.
We got Rawhide all night and then home.
Rawhide and A.
No,
Did they do Rawhide?
No, sadly.
It's a
Sorry.
good country key, like.
It's mad though, like it was the most stressful concert experience I've ever had. Normally I'm
Why?
really like organised and ready to go, but we didn't pre-book parking.
You silly Willy.
Well, I didn't know.
Dublin.
Like, I've never had that problem
Never
before.
been to Dublin?
What?
Never been to Dublin?
Have you not?
No, you. If you didn't book parking.
Well, have I? I've been to Dublin before, but
Why
like
didn't you book parking?
we just winged it and got parking on this, like in the multi-stories. Now, granted, as I pointed out to my ma at the time, we haven't really been to see many artists that would have quite the following that Queens of Stone Age would, so it didn't really draw much of a crowd.
Not in this century, anyway.
The stadium's probably a stretch for the three.
Where was it? Oh, is the what was the O2 Arena?
We looked it up. The seating, like the capacity, if you will, the capacity was like 13,000 and it was sold out.
Mm-hmm. So there
That's
was
big.
at least 13,000 people there.
Yes.
Plus, however many people are in Queens of Stone Age.
The whole world, as far as I'm concerned, lad. The whole world. But no, it's crazy, right? So we wound up just parking the car on the street somewhere, like that far away from the tram line, the tram that goes through. So I could tell there was a worry in the back of my girlfriend's mind because it was her car that we took.
Yeah.
And if it was my car, it would have been the same. But I had to act.
Yeah, you have to. I know the feeling, like when you have to like act like it's okay for somebody else to do something risky, even though you know it's not. I do that all the time. Yeah, just do it.
Kinda, yeah. She'll listen to this and find out that I was also shitting it the entire time. But the crazy thing is, and it's not something we'll get into too much because we're not a political podcast in any way, shape, or form, but like less than 24 hours later, the riots happened in Dublin.
And they burnt a tram out.
They said tram out, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. Is it still going on as of this time?
I don't think so, no. I don't think they did any more than that one night. They don't have the appetite for it down there that we do up here. Not as good.
Love a good riot. Like,
yeah, they're a bit shit at it. You hear that, Southerners?
Right.
Get good.
It's not exactly London, is it? Like,
they're bad at it too.
Well, yeah, I'll never forget seeing the burnt out MX-5 picture all over the news. Became a meme.
Did it?
Yeah. I will actually put it in the thing.
Yeah, when it suits you, you'll put it in the thing.
Shut up. Yeah, so went to Green Stone Age, then everything went crazy down south. And then the toy show happened. Did you watch the toy show?
I've never in my life watched the Late Late Toy Show.
Have you not?
No.
Why not?
Just
Is it
not.
because you were still salty at your ma for getting you a Nintendo Wii when you didn't want it?
Do you think was the Wii on the toy show at some point?
Absolutely. I mean, come on, like.
I don't even know. Like, I couldn't even.
Yeah, fair
like,
enough. You've never seen it, so you, yeah.
I used to think that actually it wasn't even about toys. Like,
How could you imagine a toy show?
I now assume that it is just like a pre-Christmas, like, look at like some of the toys that people are gonna want.
Yes, so.
But all kids want these days is like cigarettes and fucking like Grand Theft Auto and all.
I think you're looking at the wrong age of children. Is the problem?
What age of kids is it?
It's like kids. Like I'm talking like 4 to maybe like 8 at the oldest.
Right.
So for our American watchers and listeners,
And me.
and you, because basically everybody in Ireland knows what it is. In the south.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've learned that with where I work at the minute.
Did any of them watch it?
Anywhere north of the border doesn't necessarily know what it is.
No.
So it's live and it's at 9:30, and everybody knows that anything to do with kids, nighttime, and live on television is asking for trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And usually things go wrong, and it's very funny. That is why people enjoy it the most. I think.
Actually, not actually watching it for like to see the latest like toys.
No, you don't actually care about what the toys are. You're watching it to see what's going to happen.
Okay.
It's kind of the whole thing behind it, because you'll get culty kids from like
Armagh.
no,
Probably
culty kids
not
from
even.
like Tipperary or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's all over the country. There were like once more man stuff too. Like it's not just south of the border.
Yeah.
But the whole premise really is watching it to see if there's any slip ups or mess ups or anything like that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There was a really funny kid this year called Shamey. And with a name like that, you know, he's going to be a culture. Like, he had a mullet. All I can say is go and watch him on YouTube if you can. It is hilarious. He was nearly touting on his uncle or his dad, one or the other. Could be the same, you know. He said that they took time off work to help him build the Legos to go on the show. And then Patrick Keelty, who does it now, said to him, how long did he take off to help you to do all these Legos? And then the kid was like, oh, Jesus, Patrick, I couldn't be telling you something like that now. I'd wind up getting him in trouble.
What is it with culty kids and being like old men?
Literally, somebody said on like TikTok, that boy was born and raised in the pub.
Yeah, like...
So culture, like, absolutely recommend going and watching it if you get a chance.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's basically what's happened. Oh yeah, our compressor died.
Sad.
So we started to work with a company called Dinatrol. You'll see a video coming up soon. If you've checked us out on Instagram yet, you'll probably see our real thingy that's happened. We started working with them. They are an underseal company for rust proofing. This just makes it sound like they're paying to be in the podcast, but they're not. They're not paying us anything at all. They give us free stuff, which I'd near take over being paid for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they sent us free shit, and we're like, here, work away with that. And I was like, okay, cool. So we done the engine bay of the van, and to be fair, it looks really well. I can't speak for the rust proofing properties of it yet because it's literally just happened. But I do like the finish. So we did the engine bay and we started to do underneath the car tonight. And we jokingly said at the start of the video, right, let's fire up the compressor, which I know Connor hates because it could just explode at any minute. Thankfully, it didn't explode.
It is very rusty.
It's not that rusty. You're thinking of the old one.
No, they're both very rusty. Like, look, if you're Anthony, thought that it was ready to explode.
I know, that's the thing. Like, he thought it was ready to explode. Here, better give this to my wee brother and let him have it while I go and buy a new one. Like,
if he thought it was too dangerous, it's fucking like it was dangerous like years ago.
It is maybe 15, 20-year-old. Like,
Yeah,
but
they rust from the inside because that's where the water gets, and then you compress that to how many psi?
don't know, the gauge doesn't work. I just let it go till it stops.
It's basically just a bomb. Like, it's basically just ready to kill you.
It's shaped like one.
Yeah.
But yeah, we jokingly said, oh, if anybody wants to sponsor us and give us a compressor, give us a shout. Ha ha ha.
Compressor was like, nah, fuck you then.
You cheeky wee bastard.
I'm
So
not
the
working for
compressor
you.
stopped working in the middle of undersealing the car. So that happened tonight and I was really not in good form. And you know what else happened tonight that I'm not in good form about?
What?
Fuck, we're on a roll tonight. Well, I'm on a
So
roll.
much bad stuff happening. What?
I started playing WRC Rally. This happened about 3 minutes before we started the podcast. This is fresh anger. The new, like, it's basically a new Colin McRae, put it that way.
Yeah, if you last played the game like 20 years ago, that's what you'd know it as.
But people still call it
Colin McRae Rally, boy.
People do. This is 2 podcasts in a row we've talked about Colin McRae Rally.
Sick.
But the new one came out and there's... Don't judge me.
Fair enough, yeah. Go on.
Who do you think you are? Yeah, so a new one came out and you can do these things called clubs. And I'm one of... This is so nerdy if you're... Like, I'm sorry if you fall asleep behind the wheel or at work. Or at your desk.
I did all 3.
You just working behind the wheel asleep. Driving down the road with pen in hand, conked out of the wheel. I'm on a thing called a forum. This was those things that existed before Facebook happened.
What?
Where people used to make friends with people on the internet over common topics.
You used to make friends with somebody who was much older than they said they were.
Sitting in a room with their right hand on an area of their body.
Yeah, and what's worse?
This looks like there's about to be a wee story here.
What's worse was that you were a lot younger than you said you were, so it's just doubly fucking like what bad. Like, it's
You're
just
mad
terrible.
about to find something out about you here.
No, I was never groomed. I was
You were the groomer. Oh no, I was never groomed. Oh, not tough.
wasn't an attractive enough target to be groomed, but
Oh, self-confidence issues even as a child.
yeah, that's what happens on forums. It's people groomed people. Anyway, what about your forum experience?
Okay, well, it was better than that. I did get groomed. No. Although proud member of Tomb Raider forums since 2000.
I bet that was full of fucking weirdos. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's not that they were full of weirdos. Just eccentrics.
Yeah, that's a polite way of saying that there was probably a section dedicated to like the triangle tits or something, like, wasn't there?
No, never that. Actually, it was classy in that regard because nobody ever looked at them because they were mostly gay. Anyway, so it's actually that's very true. It's amazing I'm straight. Anyway, back on topic. Forums. So there were like message boards. They used to call them way back when.
That's right.
Yes. Anyway, I'm on one for Gran Turismo, and they started a league for Dirt Rally, or Colin McRae, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And it was I've been excited for this for about a week now. So a real long brew and excitement, like one whole week of being excited. And the first rally was on tonight, Monte Carlo. I crashed in the first rally and had to retire, so now I can't do anything for like a week.
That is sad. You should just make another account on the forum.
Yeah.
Go again.
Just keep signing up different names.
Change one letter every time.
427 Motorsports, 427 Motorsport, 428 Motorsports. All just the same thing, but different. Okay. That's enough talking shite. Shall we talk some more shite?
Yeah.
So this week we asked some questions. Now we've had one question that is actually like good enough to be the topic of the whole podcast, but there was another question beforehand which we should answer as well.
Okay, I'm here to
This
answer.
comes. Oh, my wee keyboard's on. This one comes from J McFeely.97, which is my mate Josh, who gave me the coat that I got that got stolen in Galway,
Oh,
which
sad.
is really sad.
Yeah.
And I really like that coat because he gave me it, and it meant a lot that he gave me that, and then it was stolen. So if you have any more coats, Josh,
He's ready to fence them to the thieves.
no, I haven't seen him in a very long time. I hope he's doing well. What was I gonna say? Yes, so his question was, how is the K10 going? Now, for those who, well, probably should know by now. I mean, if you're here, you're on the channel, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because we did do a video on it.
Yeah.
The K10 is the Nissan Micra that we bought, Nissan/Datsun. And he asks, how's it going?
It's going.
It goes. No, we haven't actually done anything to it since now. We will be reiterating this when we do a follow-up video on it. But, I mean, might as well talk about it now.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. It runs.
We knew that. It ran in the video.
We haven't done anything else to it. We're going to paint the wings on that.
Sell it.
Yeah, sell it basically.
No, the whole previous owner thing.
Oh yeah, you...
I thought he was going to actually get involved in the podcast, but clearly he's just here.
A warm body.
I'm
not even that warm.
You can see our fucking breath. No, I joined one of the Nissan Micra clubs of Ireland. It's all nuns.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the early Micra. It's ex-nuns who are usually known as
Dead.
deceased.
Yeah. Often.
Quite often. And somebody messaged me, and it turns out he was a previous owner of the car. The previous owner before the person we got it off had it. Mm-hmm. And he told me that they did everything basically that we thought we would have to do to it.
Oh yeah, they serviced it and all. So
Yeah.
we're not gonna.
It's just been serviced. It's just had the brakes done. He put the new wings on. There's a timer belt there for it, but it hasn't been fitted. Like it's basically ready to go other than putting tires on it and running it through an MOT. So 10 out of 10. That was a great revelation because we were thinking about how much money we were going to have to spend on it to try and claw back when we sell it, but we don't have to anymore.
Yeah.
So between that and the spare parts, it will be for sale
Soon.
It's going to be in the new year, realistically.
Oh well, yeah. Nothing happens now from now till.
Yeah, it's not the time to sell stuff, to be honest. Like,
No.
so unless you get somebody who's like, oh, Christmas present to myself sort of thing, but the chances of us getting it, or getting it, the wings painted, getting it like under sealed, and then getting it through an MOT and stuff, it's gonna be after Christmas.
It's too cold to paint stuff, and your
Far too
compressor's
cold.
just died. So good luck with that.
Sad react. But anyway, yes, that's how the K10's going. Thank you very much for asking. So, the topic of tonight's podcast. This one comes from Charlie_86C.
That's Kieran's mate, Charlie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh! Didn't know that. I've never actually paid attention to who that was. To see that it gets a lot of likes and things, but I've never actually noticed that it was anybody we knew.
He's been at your house.
I didn't know that.
Now you feel bad.
I didn't know it was him. I don't know who he is, but I didn't know that was him.
His profile picture is not a picture of him.
Yeah,
so.
his profile picture is a dog. So like, how am I supposed to know
What's wrong
that's
with
him?
that? What's wrong with that?
Not
Why
wrong
didn't you
with
know
that.
it was Charlie's dog?
I don't know why I didn't know that was Charlie's dog. Let me pet the dog. I didn't know it was the dog.
Imagine it's not actually the same.
Are you fucking serious? I thought you knew.
It is.
It's definitely not. Anyway, so he comes to us with the question, and it feels like we're kind of doing a service to the community by answering this question. He says, how do I convince someone that old cars can be reliable? Now, I made a couple points, I asked Connor to make some points, and he refused. Did you or did you not say, "Oh, I was just going to wing it"? Oh, Tom, oh, I was just going to wing it.
I did say that. I don't know if that's him.
For the listeners in the car, Connor is frantically typing on his phone, trying to find out if this person is who we think it is.
Pretty sure it's him. Charlie, if that's you, let us know.
Did you know I went to high school with a fella whose name was Charlie White?
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Let's see.
Imagine that, like, oh.
Ugh.
Have you found out if it's him or not?
No, I'll have to do it afterwards.
I don't think it is him. I'm pretty sure he has a different username.
Yeah, I think he might do.
Because I'm pretty sure his picture is a picture of him. That is why it's confusing. 86C,
Yeah.
I think, is a Volkswagen thing.
Oh, okay. That
I think it's like Type 86 or something like that.
can't believe that you tried to tell me that was Kieran's mate, Charlie. Where do you see his name's not even
his name's like fucking John.
Never mind. Look, let's just get on
you
with the
done
podcast. Yeah. Right. How do you
me.
convince people that daily driving in a classic car is reliable?
So what way do you want to do this? Do you want to go through my points, or do you want to... We also have asked people to tell us their thoughts. We got 2 responses. But, you know, that's more than the none because we only put this up, like, tonight. So that's actually that's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, the response only came in at 10 to 7, and it's like...
It's like...
It's 8:30 now, like, so, I mean, that's fair enough that we didn't really get a lot of responses. Anyway, so I'll go through the responses then.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so Chris_wrenches. I'm guessing that's what he does rather than like his last name.
Surname. Be a cool surname.
If my surname was Wrenches, I would probably fix cars too. I would wrench on cars. Anyway, he says, lead by example. My 1981 Toyota Celica Supra. That's a cool one in itself because not everybody will know that the Supra originally was just a trim
Just a
level of
Celica.
Celica. And then it became its own thing.
Nice. I didn't know that.
You did or didn't?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Did not know that.
That's where the Supra came from. It was originally a Celica. He says his is his daily driver, and it is probably the best car he's ever owned for not needing any work. So as he said, lead by example, just
It is a Toyota though. So that's...
It's kind of like easy mode.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, he's not out here in a Fiat 131 or like something of that effect. I don't know why. Twice we've talked about this, and I've said the Fiat 131.
Yeah,
both
you just really
times.
hate the Fiat 131.
I don't really like the Fiat 131. That's the worst part. Anyway, so he says the best way is to just to do. Lead, don't follow, I suppose.
I just show people that it can be done.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
but it doesn't work.
Does work.
I still ask. No, I mean like
Oh, yeah.
in the back to the main
Aye,
point.
the car works, but people
Yes.
still think that it's not a, like, everyone always asking me, like, why are you driving that? Like,
Do you think they
Why
maybe
you-
mix up preventative maintenance with...
I don't do preventative maintenance.
No, you don't. That's very true. But a lot of people see it as, oh, he's always fixing that car. But no, you're just improving it. Didn't actually break. You know, that sort of way.
Yeah, maybe. But no, people do keep asking though, regardless. People are always like, why you drive old cars?
Why? Why you drive old cars?
They do.
Huh?
Like, people
Like
actually...
interrogate you like her.
They do take it very personally, actually, I think. It's as if they have like shares in like Volkswagen or something. Like, why are you not buying new cars?
Fair enough. I get what you mean, but I've actually never really... Actually,
What?
that's bollocks. I have had people tell
Yeah,
me
of course you have.
No, it's more like, why do you drive old cars? It's like, would you not get rid of that specific car is usually what I get.
No, it is very personal like that all the time as well, isn't it? It's always like why are you driving that heap of shit? It's not just no car, it's like, why are you driving that heap of shit? Like, it's not going to get you anywhere.
It's always abusive.
It is
It's
abusive.
never a genuine... Why do you decide to drive old cars?
And I think that on its own is because the sort of person who thinks it's their business to ask you that is just a little bit rough anyway, like a little bit too abrasive, a little bit sandpapery, a little bit coarse.
Have you got a thesaurus on the table?
But you know what I mean? They're like the sort of person who doesn't just mind their own business about it is likely to just be a bit
they're asking you almost
Direct.
for a row
Yeah, maybe.
rather than genuinely wondering why you drive an old car. Because I'd happily give people the reasons why, but they don't want to hear that. That's not what I asked you.
The people who just wonder why you do it just sort of chat to you without asking you, I think.
Yes, they
Yeah.
will just admire the car rather than question why you drive it.
Yeah.
You don't do
So
it with
that's-
anything else.
But-
Have you ever noticed, like, you wouldn't walk up to somebody, say, that's wearing a furry coat. You wouldn't walk up and say, "Why are you wearing that furry coat?"
Some people would if it's genuine fur.
That was a bad example.
That was a
wasn't
bad example. But there are examples like that. I mean, like, you know, like you wouldn't, like if somebody had an old house, you wouldn't be like, why are you living in that shit old house? Doesn't it need loads of work?
In a fucking National Trust mansion, like, why are you living in that old house?
But like old houses are shit and they do need lots of work. Same
Mm-hmm.
as cars.
Yeah.
But you don't question people about it when they do live in one.
Yes, it's more of a, it's got charm. and
Yeah,
it's-
that people are far more likely to. At the same time, like,
Oh, we've got him started now.
you can get a fucking mortgage for a house, but they won't give you a mortgage for a car. Such a fucking.
I think it's just
Such a vapid, benign point. Like, I literally have a loan for a car.
it's called a loan, and yes, people do that.
But what I'm saying is, like, people, you'll get to a certain age and people will be like, you need to buy a house. Like, you know, you need to buy a house. But nobody's ever like, you need to buy a car. You need to buy a
You
30-year-old
need to buy a
shitbox.
classic. Well, I say that quite a few times. That Bill's got a lot of character to own a 30-year-old shitbox.
So yeah, what's the other response that we got to that?
Okay, the other response is from a very good friend of ours, Jack UR Fletchery. And he, I have cut off some of his question.
His response?
His response, oops. He basically said the first part, like, I can't actually remember the first part. I'm so sorry, Jack.
You've got it in front of you.
No, I don't have the
You're
first
doing
part.
Jack a disservice.
That's me asking the question. This was like halfway through the question because he got so involved in his response that it went over the character limit, and then he sent the rest of it to me in a chat. It's all on my phone, but my phone's up there recording, and my iPad's here, and
You're having
I crashed on Dirt Rally.
Yeah, we
It
know.
doesn't work.
We know.
Just not having a good time.
Give me the gist of what Jack said there.
Anyway, Jack says something, and then anything.
Fuck, you're a good boy. He'll get you for the late toy show next year.
Fuck off. Jack said whatever he said on screen, and then he said anything.
That's no good to me. You're no use to me. I've got to answer it now. For fuck's sake. Right, go on.
You can answer it whenever I've edited it.
Alright.
He says whatever he said on screen, and then he says anything that could give up or break, then the likelihood of reliability increases. Yes, that's what it was. He said if you buy any old car and just replace whatever is likely to break, then the likelihood of reliability increases. But the question is more that if the car has had that work done previously, or if the owner is willing to do the work to the car. Yeah, that really needed the first bit.
I half agree with you there, Jack.
Which half?
Is
it the brain half? Or is it the pants half?
Definitely the pants half.
Right.
The replacing everything, which you do a lot.
Yeah.
You're big into replacing everything, but I'm always hesitant to do it because the quality of spare parts available to me, personally,
Because your own supply network.
my own factory, and it's not very good. They're not working very hard down there, and
Tibet. The second time we talked about Tibet. That's what we did. We should talk about that.
free to bed.
What?
But we'll do it after we do this, okay?
Okay.
I'm not getting sidetracked.
Definitely going to forget.
Yeah, probably. The bits, the spare parts that are available for Mercedes, the reproduction bits, they're quite often not very good. I don't know what it's like for Land Rover, Jack. I don't know what it's like for Volkswagen.
Volkswagen parts are usually very
They're
good.
usually good replacement ones. Like a lot of the reproduction bits that you need for Mercedes, because the thing with Mercedes is the mechanicals a lot of the time don't really break anyway. So the engine's not giving bother. It's like the bits around it.
All you're worried about is what is around the engine.
It's the bits around, but it's like bits like heater valves and things like that. And then you get the replacement one, and it's not very good. Like we both need blower motors for our 124s at the minute. I have a sneaky feeling that we're going to pay £80 each, and they're not going to be very good. That they'll probably break quite quickly.
That's a very spot on feeling.
That's a big feeling for me right now. But that's why I always try and, with the Mercedes in particular, like I try and get as much out of them before they break, rather than replacing them preemptively.
See, the difference between me and you is I've had a lot more bad experiences than you've had.
Yeah.
I've spent more time at the side of the road with the bonnet up because something has went wrong.
Yeah.
So I suppose you could say I went too far.
Just too far.
I just pushed it to the limit too much. But that is why I now just preemptively replace a shit ton of stuff. I think it's because since then I've been in jobs that weren't Domino's and weren't wrecking the car as much as I was driving it. So I've just been spending the money and sorting the car out, because the bits for Volkswagens, even good quality ones, are cheap.
Yeah, they're cheap. Which makes a difference.
When you can replace an entire wishbone with ball joint and bushings for less than 20 quid a side, whenever you would be spending 3 or 4 times that on a Mercedes.
Yeah, and I'll give
wouldn't you just throw it on and be done with it?
I'll give you a shit example as well. I bought those.
What a shit example?
It was just a bad time for me. Okay, I bought replacement SLS spheres for that black estate of mine. Remember when I first got the estate? Because I knew I needed them.
Talky bit in the video at one stage.
And then by the time I got around to fitting them things, the spheres had gone bad. Like the nitrogen filled balloons inside them had perished.
Just wasn't vulcanized rubber.
No. So it's like, why bother?
Why bother? Because you bought another second-hand part to replace your second-hand part.
Why bother?
Then you're surprised that the second-hand part was no good. I've also been there and done that, and it's a false economy of putting second-hand parts in, and then they just break.
Just like power-worn tires.
Well, I agree with power-worn tires, but the problem with putting second-hand parts in is that that may have been in that other car for ages and it's been totally fine, but you fucked with the chakras. They are no longer aligned. You wedged that part from where it's supposed to be, and that's thrown it off, and then it breaks.
Yeah,
could all just be in here, but that's what I think.
Yeah.
Well, to continue the other part of his answer, he says another factor to consider is if you are asking more of the car than what it was initially designed to do, and therefore pushing it past the limits of what it is fit for and decreasing the likelihood of reliability.
That's true. Some cars were just shite.
And are we convincing people that old cars can be reliable as their only car for everyday commuting or just for weekend driving? Well, that's a good point, actually. What is this about?
Does it say bruv?
Yeah, he just went bruv at the end. Totally well thought out, eloquent message, and then just bruv at the end.
Yeah, fair enough.
Good man, Jack. But yeah, that's the thing. So I think a big difference between modern cars and older cars is that back then you did just get cars that were shit when they were new.
Some of them were, yeah.
Yeah, there's very few cars out there now that you won't get your 3 years trouble-free driving, and then you probably hand it back with your finance or whatever. Everybody can make a good car these days. Whereas
do you know what it is? It's not that everyone can make one, it's just that all the bad companies died.
True.
British Leyland, literally made bad cars for long enough that they literally couldn't physically exist anymore. It's true,
Yeah, fair enough. Have you any more, Dad?
Just wanted to fucking jab that one in
there. But no, some cars just weren't very good when they were new. Some cars were rusting on the forecourts when they were built. Fiat 131s.
Yeah.
But nowadays, anybody can make a good car, and
Alfa Romeo started making scrap after 1975.
False.
It's 155 because the brown touring car racing in the 90s. When was the last time you saw one? I'm on the road, eh?
I've never ever actually seen one.
That tells you how many of them didn't rust away.
You
finished?
the 156.
It's good, this, isn't it? Even though we're basically just counting numbers consecutively. What about the fucking 157?
There wasn't one.
Was there not?
I don't think
was that
so.
not the wee hatchback fucking thing?
No, it was a 147.
158? 159?
You're just saying numbers.
160? 161?
He's gone.
Can I get a... Alfa Romeo 203.
It's probably a Peugeot.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
No, the Alpha did a lot of good cars. Shut up.
when? Before 1975?
The 155.
Even they were rot boxes. Like,
Shut up. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
you're on the wrong podcast, buddy.
I don't even remember where we were going. Yeah, some cars just weren't good when they were new, and anybody could make a good car now, and people don't keep them as long as they used to anymore, so they're not. One of the points of our points, I was going to say, is that like people don't keep cars as long anymore, so they don't actually get to find out how reliable a car actually is. Because sure, anything lasts 3 years now, except fucking phones apparently.
Well, the phone is the prime example there, where they have just like locked us all into this like idea that we have to buy a new one every 3 years.
2, 3 is probably ambitious. It's usually
true. It is usually 2 year contract, which is horrendous, dystopian.
All right, thanks, George Orwell.
If George Orwell could have predicted that, he would have.
Okay,
Another vapid sentence. If he could have, he would have.
that's it. Well, here are finally
All right.
the points that the points that I've written down for us of how to convince people old cars are reliable. Well, number one, I would say, is ignore all of my social media.
Yeah.
You'll never convince anyone that cars are reliable, and if they look at my Instagram account and they'll be like, he's at the side of the road again, his bonnet's up, he's fixing that car. To be fair, I actually haven't had a car breakdown in quite some time. I ran out of diesel once in the Merc because the gauge was iffy, but that was my own fault.
And petrol in the Jag.
I never ran out of that.
The day you got it. I saw a picture the other day of Terry filling it with a jerry can. It's because it was pissing out through the thing.
Yes.
Just Jag things.
But that's hashtag just Jag things.
Just
that
Jag
doesn't count.
problems.
But yeah, ignore my social media for a start. I think following on from the lead by example, me and you with the Mercs, which kind of follows on to the depends on what the car was like when it was new.
I don't think I've ever been stranded, have I? Can you remember a time when I was? I know I crashed that one time, which obviously was not the car's fault.
Yeah, you had a wiper go on the maroon.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's not even like... Obviously,
in a torrential rainstorm,
obviously if it
kind of a big
rains,
deal.
yeah, it's going to stick you there. But, yeah, okay, that's it. One wiper blade failure.
I mean, like, yeah, like, my Mercedes 300 TD and your 240D, they are the prime examples of just buy a good car and it will last. I mean, mine's at 287,000 miles now. It does 100 miles a day. Never breaks.
Never will. You ask me
That's
how many
not curse it.
You asked me how many miles I've done in the last year.
No, I'm just asking you.
1,997.
What's your limited mileage policy?
2,000 miles. I use it sparingly for social, domestic, and pleasure.
And it is also parked on your...
In a locked garage.
And how many other vehicles are on your property?
5.
And who is the main driver of the car?
Me.
And is he also the registered keeper of the car? Right?
He is.
Good talk. But yeah, like, they've never broke down.
No.
But I've come from a background of Volkswagens that did break all the time.
Yeah.
So I think I myself have played a good part in a lot of people thinking that old cars just aren't sensible daily drivers. Because I was driving genuine shitboxes.
I know we've said this story a million times before, but like I didn't buy a classic car for years because I was looking at you like having such a terrible time with them. Like,
yeah, and she's parked out the front, folks. She's here tonight. Here,
back again.
No, like literally, like everybody was like, "Why do you still drive that thing?"
Yeah,
because I loved it. Love it. Take the day out.
Here's a hypothetical for you though, but if you had been where you are now, where you need to commute to work, what would you have done?
With her? I'd have had the money to get it sorted properly.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. With that car in particular, I was learning. I didn't really know very much at all about cars, believe it or not. I didn't grow up in the garage working on them. I only started into cars when I got that car. I never hung around with Dad in the garage fixing it. Well, we didn't have a garage at the time, but like that wasn't me. My brothers had that sort of upbringing, but I never had that. My knowledge of cars was exclusively Gran Turismo and Need for Speed and Midnight Club. And climbing over an XJS that was in the yard, like, but I wasn't actually really properly brought up around cars. Like, there were cars there, but I didn't appreciate them. And with the GTI, it probably broke down so much because I was too young to properly listen to what people were telling me whenever they were trying to help. Was too obnoxious probably to listen to the help people were giving me. So I know what I'm talking about, and I didn't. You know, that gets out of you. You start to realize, nah, but I haven't a fucking clue what I'm doing. And like, I never once went to like YouTube or anything and Googled how to do things. You know, just things kept going wrong, and I would get Dad to help, and we would just figure it out. But we never really actually Googled anything or looked anything up. We just kind of worked it out.
I do think there's
Which is why I never found out that gasket was fucked.
No, you just didn't want to believe that.
I think that was denial. When you've replaced every other component of the cooling system and it still doesn't stop overheating, you have to accept it.
You've got one choice left.
Literally.
The decision has been made for you.
What were you going to say?
I think there is an invisible barrier between...
Like an invisible sun?
No. Between...
Okay.
No. Between people DIY fixing something like a car.
Yes, that's on...
Is it?
Yeah.
Shall
we go through the list?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so number 2, we've talked about Tina and 240D. Number 3, they won't be reliable if they're parked up all the time, which is the difference between them and modern cars.
What's the difference between them and us?
What's the difference between you and me? Talk a good one, but you don't do what you're supposed to do. Something else by Exhibit. The thing is, a lot of people buy a Classic as their second car, and it doesn't get driven all the time.
No.
And the problem with these older cars is that they need to be constantly driven, or they do things just decide to stop working. It's what happens. They need to be in regular use. Your modern car can be parked up for 2-3 weeks at a time, and you come back to it, and everything will be totally fine. There'll be no difference whatsoever. Like,
yeah.
But with your classic car, if you leave it parked up for a few weeks, now in the case of the Mercedes and the Volkswagen stuff, they'll always start, yes, but things that are already that wee bit perished get that lot more perished when they're sitting up, and those are the things that break and seals go. And what are you gonna say?
Can't relate. I pulled my fucking 123 out of a hedge last week or the week before, and I did that after 2 years, and it started half a turn.
Yes, but as I said, the likes of the Mercedes, they always start. But
it's like
if you just randomly started using it on the road, yeah, fucking knowing your luck, it'd probably be totally fine. But
yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
although modern cars, I think we're going to get to a point where the electronics are not good after a wee while. Like they don't like setting up at all.
No, although a lot of them don't. If they get any kind of age in them whatsoever, they don't like setting up.
There's just constant battery drains on a new car.
Yeah, that's kind of the difference. It's not that sort of problem that you'd have with the Classic. The Classic problem would be like suspension or
mechanical parts
things.
Getting stuck, but with new cars it's going to be battery and circuit boards going bad and stuff, like through water or...
With the 211 Merc, same as my green one, if you let the battery die rather than unplug it, it can fry the ECU.
Just by being dead?
Just by dying rather than being dead. By dying, it can fry the ECU.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that. Like,
yeah.
Fuck that. So, to convince people old cars are reliable, you need to tell them, fucking drive it.
Yeah.
How many times have we had somebody complain about the car not running right, and we're like, oh, I took it out once in a while, like, so we'll fucking drive the thing then.
Yeah, they do. They do need regular use.
Yeah. Like, if you get a child or an animal, you don't feed it once a week. You feed it every fucking day, like.
Gotta walk the dog every day.
Yeah. Or get a house with stairs in it and let it just run up and down stairs.
Yeah, I've never walked the dog in my life.
I think I walked the dog like twice. Because he would just follow you everywhere, and that was enough exercise. Like.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so that's something you need to think about. Like, just say to them, well, have you driven it very often? Like, it's honestly a big problem. Number 4 is cost of repair versus a modern car. So people who would always say, oh, why don't you just sell it and buy something modern? But if you sell that and buy something modern, I guarantee you would have afforded to fix every single problem that is wrong with that car, and it would not let you down.
Yeah, either by initial purchase cost or by monthly payment. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what the least you can pay a month is for a new car, but it's got to be like 120 or 30 quid.
Gotta be, and that's probably like
month.
6-year contract on a Fiat 500.
Yeah, that's
knackered,
like
but,
a low ticket cost car. Basically, that's a cheap car. You'd be doing very well to be spending 130 quid a month fixing an old car.
if you're not paying somebody else to work on
If you're not paying someone else to work on it. That's the only thing.
that's a whole other argument, to be fair. Like,
People who don't do DIY mechanicing on old cars tend to want to take them to
garages who
specialists.
shaft them.
They want to go to the specialist of the mark.
What?
The mark specialist. They want Mr. fucking former Rolls Royce mechanic to work on their Rolls Royce.
Yes.
They want Mr. I worked for Mercedes for years to work on. Like, can you like?
Here we go. You can always tell when he starts a sentence and that it's gonna be good.
You picture like you're like, I don't even want to say this. Like people like.
Is this something I'm gonna have to edit out?
Yeah.
Well then, don't say it.
Okay. Forget I ever said
Save me the effort of editing. Just don't fucking say it.
Yep.
Can you say a slightly less offensive version of it?
No, right. I was just gonna say like, I'll just say it. Like, imagine your average like fucking 17-year-old apprentice man working at a dealership. Like, he doesn't really give a fuck about what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow in 40 years' time, you will have to have him working on your car because he worked at the dealership of the day.
That's not that offensive at all.
That was the most polite way I could put that, yeah. But yeah.
All right, okay, fair enough. No, I get you. Like, I mean,
Like,
he
I'm
could have
not-
been shit at his job.
That's what I mean. That was where I was getting at. Like, I'm not trying to insinuate that like everybody who works in the fucking dealership is shit at their job.
Yeah, but
But you know
everywhere
what I
has
mean. Like,
someone that could be shit at
you
their
could have
job,
like they obviously you could have the odd fucking person who just like doesn't give a fuck. But someday down the line, he might open his own fucking Mercedes garage because he worked for Mercedes for a few years, and you'd get people who are like, "God burn it, him, he's a Mercedes man,"
and him fucking
doesn't know fuck.
doesn't know what he's at. Like, totally possible, yeah. So we'll not go into the whole argument of paying somebody else to work on it because dealership prices for a modern car can be extortionate too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of much of a muchness. But the parts that you're getting will be a lot cheaper for that classic car than they will be for the modern car. So it's like,
Well, you have to just find the balance. Obviously, there's old classic cars where the parts are not available anymore, which I wouldn't recommend dailying. If parts availability is bad, I wouldn't daily the car.
Fair point.
But like, if you look in any classics magazine, like, next to the price guide, there's a parts availability counter thing. Do you notice that? Do you notice that? No.
Never look.
Next to them all, there's, and I don't know how often they update it or like how they determine it, but there'll be like a little thing that tells you how available parts are for them, which obviously contributes to how cheap it is to run.
Yes.
So it's a handy wee thing to have, but you can just look at that and be like, what's got good availability for parts?
Good.
Obviously, you're like
Helpful tips there.
fucking 1950s Porsche is not going to be a daily driver.
No, but if you can afford an
Unless you
1950s
ballsy.
Porsche, they will probably make the parts for you and you will probably quite happily pay.
True.
But anyway, number 5, modern cars break too.
Yeah, they do.
Like, old cars, like, breaking down is not like, and reliability is not exclusive to an old car. I mean, how
Right.
many modern cars? I'll say 2 words.
Fiat 500.
Land Rover.
Yeah.
All right, Fiat 500. But like, like, how many times do you see a recovery lorry and it's a fairly modern thing on the back, like?
It's always a Vauxhall.
Yeah, well, it's always Vauxhall because I'd say, don't be stupid. But you know what I mean? Like, nobody questions it when their modern car breaks down.
No, they're just like, oh, that's unlucky. Better pay like £1,000 to fix this.
Yeah, better just bend over. But like, when your old car breaks down, it's immediately a old car breakdown. That's funny. Ha! Whereas it's like,
People do mock,
fuck off. Like, yeah, literally, it's like, oh yeah, the alternator belt went. It was perished, and people would be like, oh, old cars. It's like, that could happen with any car.
Yeah.
Like, some people can be like, you go in and get a set of tires, and they'll blame it on it being an old car. Like,
Them fucking old tires, boy.
yeah, like, I mean,
Them old cars, 8 tires.
yeah. So
Mine
like,
do if you don't fucking do the alignment.
anyway,
Fuck that, times were good. When I was got a new fucking full set of Michelins for that 124 and didn't get the alignment done. And it just like ate the front 2 Michelins like within like a month. And I had to go and get 2 more fucking Michelins, but that was when there's money about.
It was during the Celtic Tiger, was
That was,
it?
that was during the COVID tiger. The government was paying us.
Fuck's sake. Could be worse. You could have had the Michelins like me, and then your
Yeah.
car can't handle the weight. You have people in the back and it fucking eats through a tire, brand new tire. Anyway, yeah, modern cars can break too. So if somebody says to you old cars aren't reliable, just say, right, well, tell me, go and look at the breakdown statistics for a Range Rover and tell me how they are reliable.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Number 6, we've kind of already glossed on this. Depends on the old car. Not all were good even when they were new.
Yeah.
So, 7 will never be 100% reliable. But is any car 100% reliable, really?
Mine is. No, it's not.
Such a dick. But really though, like, I mean, is there any car really that people could say is 100% reliable? Like,
No.
Like, I would put my 124 as more reliable than, say, a Jag F-Pace,
Easy.
which is a modern
In its sleep.
Jeep. Yeah, exactly. But
In its sleep, lad. Jaguar Land Rover was the bit of British Leyland that got away.
all right, okay, right. But no, like it's weird, right? I mean, for my commute to work is 100 miles,
Yes.
and I do that every day in my old Mercedes, and they'd be saying to me like, "Oh, how do you trust that old car?" Or like, "Them old cars ain't any good," and I'm like, "That car does 100 miles to work every day." And have you ever seen me not here in that car? It has
Yeah.
always made it to work. Have I ever called into work saying cars broke down, can't come in?
No.
Never.
That's
And
fun.
it kind of stopped after that.
That
'cause they
is
were like, "Oh."
that's actually a good point as well, because I can never use car trouble as an excuse for not being somewhere, because it opens the floodgates to, oh, you drive old cars, you should get a new car.
That's true.
Yeah, like I even, like, God forbid, touch wood, I ever do like actually break down in my old car, like, I'm not going to tell anybody. You definitely sounds, but you won't know.
There'll be an Instagram story, but that'll be it. And then say it was me.
Paulson broke down again.
Put a wee Volkswagen badge into the Mercedes badge.
But yeah, no, you can't. Well, no, yeah. How do you convince people that old cars are reliable? Like, obviously, don't tell them that you've broken down, but
Just keep some things to yourself.
But don't break down either.
Yes, that's a good point, actually. Don't broadcast too much. It's ironic that I'm saying that because I can probably just handle the hate by now, but like, I'm very much, I will post when things are broken down or when things have gone wrong, because I hate the whole... There's a conversation actually I was having with Jen there recently, how I hate the whole making everything seem like it's perfect on social media.
Yeah,
I always show the shitty side of my classic cars, like being broken down or saying feeling shit. And I don't mind, because I feel like
car
people-
left me, feel like pure shit, just want her back.
But I feel like people like either relate or just admire you more if you're willing to not hide the bullshit.
Oh yeah,
Or to hide the bullshit even.
I think
don't
people
know.
are sick of like whitewashed. Everything's great social media.
You reckon?
I think so, because everyone knows that that's the case now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people would find it refreshing if you weren't just everything's perfect.
Well, see, I was doing it for years and people just laughed at me rather than with me. So, old car break again. But, but lately I've tried to cut down on it a wee bit purely because it's 427. We're trying to, like, on the brand page, I will be like, yeah, everything's great. On my own personal one, I'll probably be like, fuck, this was a cunt.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But try and, if you are worried about like people thinking that old cars aren't reliable, or your old car in particular isn't reliable, then keep some things to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if your indicator stock breaks, you don't need to tell people that. Just fix it. I realised that happened to me. Did I ever tell you about that?
Go on.
Me and Jen were going somewhere. I think it was to, like, you know the fella near Tandragee who puts on the big crazy light show every year, like for Christmas, like his whole garden is flooded with Christmas lights, nativity scenes and stuff, and he does it for charity.
I know of him only because I was there the other day to Jack's place, and I came back past
you came back that way, and yeah. We were going to there, and I came down to the bottom of the road, went to indicate left, and I just did it too aggressively. Genuinely, I don't know why, but I just I just whacked the stock, and the stock just snapped clean off of my hands.
Fuck's sake.
And I had to go into work the next day. I was still working out of it. So like, I need an indicator stock for work day golf. And one of the guys was like, "Why the fuck do you need an indicator stock? They don't break." Just brought it in 2 hours. Like, aye, mine does.
You just smash that motherfucking indicator stock.
But like, I didn't feel the need to tell everybody that because it's like, people will just be like, "Who fucking car's broken again?" or "Something's broke again." But it's only a minor inconvenience. I was able to use the wee chill then. Like, it was fine.
The left-hand indicator in your Jag didn't work for a while as well. Do you know how much pain in the ass that is? See, trying to indicate to like slow down and go into a shop, and every cunt behind you is like fucking flashing you and beeping at you because you
Yes.
haven't indicated.
And you're afraid that they're going to drive into the back of you as well.
Yeah.
It's always a big worry of mine. But did you tell anyone?
No.
So there you go.
Not even the people behind me.
But yeah, like, try and keep some stuff to yourself. Just because,
Keep it to yourself.
yeah, you know, people don't put up an Instagram story when they fucking spilt some milk. Like,
Do you know what?
no, I usually just go and cry about it instead. Number 8, with the Mercs, especially. The problem is that a reliable one is considered to, like, to the general public, a reliable classic car is considered to be an anomaly rather than the norm, which is not the case. Now look at your classic Mercs, right? Look at mine, look at yours. How many miles are on them cars? Like, they are moon miles.
Yeah.
And how many others have we seen or went to look at or have been for sale? And you see the mileage and it's massive.
Yeah.
And they're still going totally fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. But you go and find a fucking modern, like some kind of equivalent modern car with 297,000 miles on it and tell me that it runs as well as that one does.
You won't find one with that many miles.
Not
usually.
without having loads of work done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like lots and lots of these classic cars are like that. So how many stories have you seen about these 1,000,000-mile Mercs?
Yeah. Do you know why it
And
is?
they're all the 70s and 80s ones, like.
Do you know why that is?
Because they don't make them like they used to. Is
Yes.
that what you're going to say?
Because they have computer aided design now. They got CAD.
And CAD.
They got SCMODs. They got CAD. And in CAD you can basically make a component that you can make it and test the tolerances, like
Yes.
that it'll
I
only
believe all
last
this.
the warranty basically.
Yes.
So because it's cheaper that way, you can say over every car that you make, you can save like a few pennies, but then that adds up for the company.
That's a couple $100,000.
Yeah. So now they make components that
Look
last.
after the pennies and the pennies will mind themselves.
That's it. So it is. So you know yourself. So then they make the iron bits and bobs for the yoke, but they're not very good. Only lasts about the length of the warranty.
That's a hell of a fucking.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's just they can make it so it just about lasts.
What do you think, Ken?
Is it Ken Bruce?
Sure, you seen them?
Who's your imaginary friend today, Thomas?
Who?
and then is this Ken in the room with us right now?
Yes.
Is he playing Popmaster?
He keeps saying to me, 1 year, right? 1 year, right? But yeah, no, you're right. Things just aren't. They don't make them like they used to, and it's such a like.
I would just
cliche.
because you can make them now that cheaper and quicker and less durable. Whereas in the 80s, they had to make an engine that was really good because they didn't know if it would last or not if they made it a bit weaker. So there you
The
go.
unknown was what saved the
Because
cars.
that's the thing. Like I don't think people, they're not making them worse, even if they are. Like the workforce isn't doing a bad job.
Well, they're doing
They're
the same
robots.
thing, like.
They're robots.
Yeah, it's not like the
Robots in the factory.
It's not like the 80s where they were too busy out striking to make any cars. Like,
Yeah. Exactly.
okay. And then number 9 we've already went into is that people don't keep new cars long enough to see how reliable they really are because they get rid of them a lot long or quicker than they would have done in the past.
New cars are like white goods.
Yeah.
And that's another fucking cliche that everyone
Most of them
says
are
these
painted
days.
white now too.
Yeah. But basically it's like a washing machine where you get rid of it after like 3 years. So you just buy a new one. Old equals bad. That's the way people think. They think if it's old it's no good.
That's
You
sad.
gotta have a new one.
Depends on what it is, I think. For some reason, cars are like.
I don't know, I think off the top of my head I think house is the only thing I can think of where people are accepting of old stuff, of like vintage furniture and things like that, like stuff that doesn't serve any like function but is just aesthetic.
Like a house.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. The house is the only thing that actually like you live in, but people accept it being old and broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, isn't it?
People.
People. Them people. What are they about?
They're all old and broken.
I am.
I am. Well, that has been today's WagonCast.
We said we'd come back to something and I can't remember what it is.
Oh Jesus, what was it? Oh Jesus!
I guess that
I told you this would happen.
Self-fulfilled. No, I can't remember. I can't remember.
I remember now.
Forget it. The moment's gone.
Google Maps.
What?
We did yesterday.
Oh yeah.
We spent an hour on Google Maps just looking at random cars in like poor countries. No, they can't say poor countries. That's the
Yeah, that's a bad way of saying it.
less
in
well off.
what the geographers used to call LEDCs, or less
Now
economic.
it's LGBT or something.
I think it is something like that. Oh yeah, LGBTQ plus. No, there's more than that now, isn't there? Anyway, less economically developed countries such as, where were we?
Venezuela.
Yeah, Venezuela wasn't great.
No. Gambia.
Africa was the best.
Africa. Like first click in, there's like, oh, there's a Mercedes 123. Yes. Oh, there's a 190.
The Gambia is full of Mercedes.
So we're thinking of doing a video of us doing this, just looking at random countries and like,
seeing what we car spotting.
Talking shit. If you like that, let us know, because that's the type of good warming in the house type of video.
Oh yeah. Please don't make me go out in the garage again.
No, Tomo, I don't want to hold the camera under a car anymore.
The last of my fingers will drop off.
I can see me breath. Well, that has been us. Thank you very much for listening or watching, wherever you are. That's my please hire me for the TV voice.
Yeah, that's your like newscaster voice.
Yes. Go fuck yourself, San Diego. Yes, if you haven't already, subscribe. Follow us on the Instagrams and all the rest. I've been Tomo.
I've been Connor.
We've been 427, and we're signing off.
Good luck.
Good luck.